Hey everyone, this is Tegan. This is my MopMaster from my project in FSE 100, part of the TechTitans group 5. As you can see here, I was unable to add a flow sensor since it's not in TinkerCAD, so I use a potentiometer right here as a placeholder. I'm also using a LED in place of a pump because there's no pump option in TinkerCAD, and that's why there's a resistor here, would not be there with the pump. And then I'm also using a servo motor in place of an actuator here. So we'll go ahead and run the simulation. And as I change this pressure, we'll get this to cycle, back down, and then up. And then we have our distance, which is going to change our motors from going forward, reverse, depending on how far or how close it is, which we'll see in the code later. And then we have our potentiometer, which is used as our flow meter for our pump. So we'll get that stopped. We'll go over to our code. So as you can see in the beginning here, we initiate doing some constant initiates with the motor pins 1 and 2, motor 1 and 2, pins 1 and 2. So the first set are going to be 5 and 6, the second set are going to be 9 and 10, and I do have 2 different H bridges to drive these. And then for my ultrasonic distance sensor, I have trig pin going to 7 and echo pin going to 8. And then my servo pin is going to 3. My pump pin is going to 2, which again is the LED here. Awesome. And then we get to our void setup. So we're going to be driving outputs here, applying all sonic pins, input and output. The trig is the output, the echo is the input. We have our servo pin, serial begins with 9600, our pin pump pin output, and then our pressure pin A0, and then input, and then pin mode 8 output. Serial begins at 9600 again. Then our void loop starts here. So this is where we're going to read and write for our sensor. Sensor equals delay of 100 milliseconds, so that way it actually has time to update. Otherwise, it'll just go too fast and you won't see the updates. Then we have our tests in place for our motors here, forward, stop, reverse, and then we adjust it with our ultrasonic distance right here. So delay again for 2 microseconds and 10 microseconds, otherwise it will adjust too fast and not read it. Then we have our duration and distance here, so we have a duration times 0.0034 divided by 2, and that's going to give us centimeters displayed. And as you can see in our serial output right here, that's going to show right there. And then we have our test pump pin high. And that is my code for my Arduino board for this project. Thanks.